Hello and thank you for tuning into this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Various memorandum of understanding signed between India and Singapore. Swachh Bharat mission, a game changer for public health, says Prime Minister. The centre notified the Galathea Bay as a major port. First ever international, legally binding treaty on artificial intelligence signed by countries like US, UK. 500 million tons domestic steel production target by 2034. Defence Minister presides over Maiden Joint Commanders Conference in Lucknow. Let us begin with the very first news. In the recent visit of the Indian Prime Minister to Singapore, several significant memorandums of understanding were signed, marking a new chapter in bilateral cooperation. A total of 4 MOUs were finalized, focusing on key sectors such as digital technologies, semiconductors, health cooperation, and skill development. These agreements further elevate India-Singapore relations to the level of a comprehensive strategic partnership, showcasing the strengthening of ties between the two nations. One of the standout agreements was in the semiconductor sector, as this Memorandum of Understanding envisages cooperation in semiconductor cluster development, talent cultivation, and advanced manufacturing, with a special focus on building resilient supply chains. Singapore, being a key player in the global semiconductor industry, accounts for 10% of all chips and 20% of semiconductor manufacturing equipment produced worldwide. International cooperation in the semiconductor field is essential as it serves as the foundation of the modern technological landscape. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing are calling for global collaboration to foster innovation and research. The Indo-Pacific region holds immense significance in semiconductor manufacturing, with major players like the United States, Taiwan, South Korea, and now India playing pivotal roles. Strengthening ties with Singapore and other nations in the region is essential for India to build a comprehensive and resilient supply chain, particularly as global production remains concentrated in this area. Moreover, international cooperation in this field provides leverage over China, as currently China lags behind other major players in the domain, and diverse collaboration would reduce dependence on China, creating a resilient supply chain. The economic potential of leading the semiconductor industry is vast. India's semiconductor mission, with an outlay of $363 million, has already laid the groundwork for attracting significant investments. The India-Singapore bilateral relationship has evolved significantly over the years, with the strategic partnership established in 2015. Singapore is India's 6th largest trade partner as of 2023-24, contributing 3.2% of India's overall trade. The Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement signed in 2005 played a crucial role in expanding economic ties between the two countries, leading to a flourishing trade partnership. Singapore is also the largest source of foreign direct investment into India, contributing $11.774 billion in 2023-24 alone. This deep-rooted economic relationship underpins the broader strategic collaboration between the two countries, with the recent MOUs set to further expand cooperation in cutting-edge fields like semiconductors and digital technologies. In a recent address, the Prime Minister hailed the Swachh Bharat mission as a game changer for public health in India. He pointed to a study published in Nature magazine, which demonstrated a significant correlation between the implementation of Swachh Bharat mission and accelerated reductions in infant and child mortality rates. The quasi-experimental study explored the association between Swachh Bharat mission and key health outcomes such as infant mortality rate and under 5 mortality rate, showing how transformative sanitation programs can greatly impact public health, especially in low and middle-income countries. The importance of water, sanitation, and hygiene or WASH in improving health and social outcomes was a key highlight. For instance, districts with more than 30% of toilets constructed under Swachh Bharat mission experienced a 5.3-point reduction in IMR and a 6.8-point reduction in U5MR. This improvement was also associated with greater utilization of health and nutrition programs, including antenatal care and institutional deliveries, which are crucial for maternal and newborn health. Improved sanitation also plays a critical role in reducing diseases. A World Health Organization report attributed 3 lakh fewer diarrheal deaths in 2019 compared to 2014 to improved sanitation brought about by Swachh Bharat mission. Furthermore, Children in areas that were not open defecation free saw 58% higher cases of wasting, according to data from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Beyond health, Swachh Bharat mission has had a significant social impact. Poor wash facilities have long been a barrier to student enrollment and attendance, particularly for girls. Additionally, improved access to sanitation facilities and enhanced the safety and dignity of women, with 93% of women reporting feeling safer at home, according to UNICEF. The success of Swachh Bharat mission can be attributed to its holistic approach. Rather than just focusing on toilet constructions, Swachh Bharat mission has combined infrastructure development with community engagement and substantial investments in information education and communication efforts to promote behavioral change. The mission has invested heavily in capacity building programs for government officials, frontline workers, volunteers, and communities, ensuring that the message of cleanliness and sanitation reaches every corner of the country. In terms of waste management, Swachh Bharat mission established comprehensive systems for waste segregation, collection, transportation, and disposal. It also set up treatment plants and recycling centers to ensure that waste is effectively managed. To increase citizen participation and ensure transparency, mobile and web applications were introduced. Moreover, the government has continuously assessed the progress of Swachh Bharat mission through the National Annual Rural Sanitation Survey, which has helped track the mission's success and ensure that improvements continue in the long run. In a significant development, the central government has notified Galathea Bay as a major port, exercising its power under Section 5 of the Indian Ports Act 1908. This marks the beginning of its transformation into an international container transshipment port, positioning it as a critical hub for global trade. A transshipment port is vital for facilitating the transfer of cargo between vessels en route to their final destinations, and the development of such a port at Galathea Bay in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands is poised to bring significant economic and strategic benefits. From an economic standpoint, the ICTP at Galathea Bay is strategically located on a key international shipping route, which will significantly boost India's EXIM or export-import trade. Currently, nearly 75% of India's transshipped cargo is handled at foreign ports such as Colombo, Singapore, and Klang. With the establishment of an ICTP at Galathea Bay, India will not only be able to save valuable foreign exchange, but also attract foreign direct investment. The strategic significance of Galathea Bay cannot be overstated. Its proximity to critical choke points like the Malacca Strait and the east-west shipping route that connects Europe, Africa, and Asia makes it a crucial point for global maritime traffic. India currently has 12 major ports and around 200 non-major ports or minor ports. These major ports are governed by the Major Ports Authority Act of 2021 and fall under the administrative control of the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Meanwhile, non-major ports are regulated by state maritime boards and respective state governments. The notification of Galathea Bay as a major port further strengthens India's commitment to enhancing its maritime infrastructure.
In a landmark move, countries including the US and UK have signed the first ever international, legally binding treaty on artificial intelligence, aimed at addressing the potential threats AI poses to human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. This historic agreement, known as the Framework Convention on Artificial Intelligence, Human Rights, Democracy, and Rule of Law, has been drawn up by the Council of Europe. This treaty is distinct from the European Union AI Act, which came into force last month. While the EU Act focuses on AI governance within the European Union, this Framework Convention has a broader mandate, ensuring that activities throughout the AI life cycle across both public and private sectors adhere to fundamental human rights and democratic principles. Key provisions of the treaty include a risk-based approach that mandates the banning of AI systems if they pose risk incompatible with human rights. It covers both public and private sector across geographies. It accommodates global diversity in legal systems by allowing parties to regulate the private sector either directly through the convention or through alternative measures consistent with it. Notably, there are a few exemptions. The treaty does not apply to matters of national security, defense, and research and developmental activities. But why is this treaty crucial? AI's growing impact on human lives is undeniable, Its ability to predict human behavior raises concerns about bias, privacy, and even stereotyping. On the democratic front, widespread use of biometric surveillance can undermine open social and political debates. In terms of the rule of law, the affordability of AI systems by elites and increased surveillance capabilities could tip the scales of justice, affecting the principle of equality before law.
The Union Minister of Commerce and Industry has set an ambitious target of producing 500 million tons of domestic steel by 2034, a major leap for India's steel sector. While addressing industry leaders, the minister emphasized the need to focus on economies of scale through decarbonization. He asked industry to innovate for low emission, high productivity, and high quality. Secondly, to use artificial intelligence to optimize production, reduce waste, and improve efficiency across the value chain. And lastly, to integrate indigenous machinery for domestic production. India is already the second largest producer of crude steel with an output of 125.32 million tons in financial year 2023 and finished steel production reaching 121.29 million tons. This growth has been driven by the country's abundant raw material resources such as iron ore, its cost-effective labor force, and strong demand from sectors like infrastructure, automobiles, and railways. However, the steel sector also accounts for around 12% of India's carbon dioxide emissions, making decarbonization a pressing challenge. On a global scale, steel is the largest carbon-emitting manufacturing industry. Several initiatives are underway to decarbonize and promote sustainable growth in the steel industry. These include the National Steel Policy of 2017, the Steel Scrap Recycling Policy of 2019, and the Perform, Achieve, and Trade Scheme. Task forces under the Ministry of Steel are working to develop a green steel roadmap, and the production-linked incentive scheme for specialty steel is designed to boost high-quality production. Also, green hydrogen, while offering the cleanest method for steel production, comes with a high cost that could impact competitiveness. However, with the support of the National Green Hydrogen Mission, India's steel sector is positioned to transition towards cleaner, greener technologies smoothly.
In a prominent development, the Defence Minister presided over the maiden Joint Commanders Conference in Lucknow, emphasizing the need for a joint military vision to enhance integration and synergy among the Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force. A key focus of the conference was the creation of Functional Integrated Theatre Commands, or ITCs, to bolster India's defence capabilities. The Defence Minister highlighted the importance of developing cutting-edge capabilities in space and electronic warfare, with a particular focus on leveraging advancements in artificial intelligence for strategic defence applications. Integrated Theatre Commands, or ITCs, involve the joint operation of the Army, Navy, and Air Force in specific adversary-based theatres with defined military objectives for limited conflicts or wars. This concept, proposed by both Kargil Review Committee and the D.B. Shekhatkar Committee, aims to streamline operations. The Northern Theatre Command, centered on China, would be located in Lucknow, while the Western Command, focusing on Pakistan, would be in Jaipur, and the Maritime Command in Thiruvananthapuram. Currently, the armed forces have 17 single service commands, 7 each for the Army and Air Force, and 3 for the Navy. However, ITCs are expected to bring all 3 services under one operational umbrella, fostering synergy and enhancing combat effectiveness. The ITCs would separate operational functions from administrative ones, adapting to the demands of future warfare and allowing for more coordinated, effect-based operations. Despite its significance, the creation of ITCs faces challenges, such as the lack of a national security doctrine for jointness among the services and absence of a common command structure. To address these hurdles, initiatives like the appointment of a Chief of Defence Staff, or CDS, and the creation of the Department of Military Affairs have already been put in place. Additionally, the recent enactment of the Inter-Services Organizations Act 2023 aims to promote jointness in procurement, training, and staffing. India currently has 2 integrated tri-service commands: the Andaman and Nicobar Command, focusing on Southeast Asia and the South China Sea, and the Strategic Forces Command, which manages the country's nuclear arsenal.
In today's Place in News, we will talk about United Arab Emirates with its capital Abu Dhabi. it is in news as UAE has successfully completed the Arab world's first nuclear power plant. Talking about its political features, United Arab Emirates is a federation of 7 emirates along the eastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula. It shares its borders with Saudi Arabia to the west and south and Oman to its east and northeast. Moreover, it shares its maritime border with the Gulf of Oman, Persian Gulf. If we talk about its geographical features, then nearly the entire country is desert with no perennial streams. Moreover, the Strait of Hormuz is a narrow channel between the Omani Musandam Peninsula and Iran. It connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. Additionally, the Tropic of Cancer passes through UAE, specifically the Abu Dhabi Emirate. And lastly, its highest point is Jebel Jais mountain. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. An enemy property in Uttar Pradesh belonging to ancestors of Pakistan's former President Pervez Musharraf is directed for sale. The Enemy Property Act 1968 defined an enemy as a country and its citizens that committed external aggression against India, that is, Pakistan and China. Eastern Economic Forum 2024 is being held in Vladivostok, Russia, which is held every year in the same city. EEF was established in 2015 to support the economic development of Russia's Far East and to expand international cooperation in the Asia-Pacific region. The Union Textile Minister launched India's first fashion forecasting initiative, Vision Next. With it, India-specific fashion trend book Paridhi 24-25 was also launched. Vision Next is a bilingual web portal of National Institute of Fashion Technology. Second cohort of startup accelerators of MEITY for Product Innovation, Development and Growth or SAMRIDH has been launched to select 125 startups for funding support and mentorship. SAMRIDH is a flagship program of MEITY for Startups Acceleration under National Policy on Software Products 2019. Prime Minister virtually addressed the first International Solar Festival held in New Delhi. India's global initiatives on solar energy include International Solar Alliance and One Sun, One World, One Grid. Saturn's ring will briefly disappear from view in 2025. The reason for this temporary disappearance has to do with Saturn's tilt and an optical illusion. Saturn's rings are generally about 30 feet thick and are almost completely composed of chunks of water ice. National exit test for Ayush has been made effective from 2021-22 batch. It is held for granting license to practice as medical practitioner of respective discipline of Indian System of Medicine for enrollment in the State Register or National Register as a registered medical practitioner of Indian System of Medicine. The Konyak Union, an apex body of the Konyak Committee, has sought the Nagaland government's intervention in rectifying the erroneous boundary line on Google Maps. Konyak tribe is of Mongoloid region. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solution to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.